Call of Duty Black Ops 6, we're doing a map guide. So we're going to be going over the maps, talking about some of the best spots to kind of hide, move around the levels, and just kind of giving you a feel for what each of the maps provide. So this is more for players trying to familiarize themselves with the levels and getting a feel of the experience. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. Alright, let's get started with the first map. This is Babylon, which is a absolutely tiny level, literally a square with a central point that you can kind of move through. It's not a great map. It's not a great map for coverage, but you do get some areas where you can sort of get light bits of elevation in order to use to your advantage. But the spawns in this, they're mean, they're cruel. There's not a whole lot of places that you're going to be able to move and to be able to handle things, but you do get some long lanes, especially if you have something that is like a medium to long range weapon. That will make a big deal. I wouldn't really recommend sniping here unless you're kind of crazy, but you know, you do you. Entry point to the middle. Then we have this slightly elevated point here, where I would actually recommend if you got a good weapon for long range, here's a great spot to camp. You can also go right here in order to see down there. And this spot in particular is really good because you get people spawning there, and people coming from there, and you can just kind of keep lying down and they can't really see you or shoot you, which is a big advantage. You could take the stairs down, it's like another starting spawn point, and then there's this little covey hole here you can kind of move between, and that continues here as well, just in case you do want a little bit of cover, a little spot to hide. But other than that, there's not much mercy. Here is a terrible place to get spawn trapped, and you do constantly. You can see how there's a big advantage from that spot over there. And then from here, you could kind of jump up and get like a little bit of an advantage point, but it doesn't help much. Here's a little bit of a spot that can help you shoot those that are over there. But yeah, kind of just tiny and not a lot of space. We've shown off that side over there, and then you just kind of move to the middle, where there's not really any hiding spots unless you kind of sit in the corner with your back against it, hoping that some players come to the next level. This is Derelict, which is another map I'm not a huge fan of. This one is a bit of a mess, but generally we have sort of one spawn area here and one spawn area over here, and then kind of these awkward train cars to move around. So this is kind of the spot here, not really lanes of sight for you to see from this perspective, just a bunch of train cars. Here you can move through the building, jump over that ledge, burst through the door, or you can move around up to this higher spot, which is usually a objective point that you can kind of camp from. You'll spawn here as well. This is a good vantage point here to see enemies up in the tower, up on this building kind of train car over there, and then people peeking around here. This is actually a really good spot to kind of camp and kill some folks. You might also have some luck kind of just sitting here, kind of nestled, because you could see people moving through that train car in the middle, where there actually is an objective in play. Other than that, let's move to the middle spot here. So you can actually jump on the train cars, and you can jump down if you'd like to, and you can jump across the different ones if you want to get a bit of a vantage point, but people will definitely be seeing you coming. You can also sit at the end of the train car and shoot all the way down this way, and vice versa. So here is a spot that's a bit of a cave. People will spawn there, they'll run around here. I have noticed a lot of people will hide around this corner for people coming, and you can barely be seen from that other perspective. It's also a good place for you to climb up to this vantage point, and you can see sort of the whole map from this particular area. Let's move around to the spawn. So here is the back entryway up to that top middle spot for a vantage point. A little bit of a train car area that you can sort of use in order to see people coming around the corner. And then that's a back spawn there. But yeah, like I said, you can come up here. It's a great vantage point, but very vulnerable to get shot from like multiple directions. And this is where a lot of people will spawn, back here, and also back behind the train cars, which is a bit of a mess of an area. So from your spawn, you could move through the building, you can move through the right over there for that lane, or you can move around the left on the other side of the building. We'll just show this small little area, mostly a spawn spot, not a whole lot of coverage or things for you to use. This is something people kind of use. We'll go on the inside of the building and we'll kind of show that off. This is where a lot of objectives are. So you get people hiding in the different corners. You get people like kind of climbing over in and out. You can look in really easily from here and see where people are. You can also hide up on the couch. Here is a spot people use for when there's an objective right here, and you can kind of shoot people. There's usually somebody in like the corner right there. And yeah, kind of just a tight, quick building. This area, lots of people come in through here from that lane, so you can kind of sit here and see people coming from there. A good advantage I take advantage of is sitting in this corner and seeing people come in. It's a good spot to shoot. There's also this spot here if you need a little bit of coverage from the left while wanting to shoot into the middle. Then there is the second level, which you access from the staircase, or jumping over from one of the cars, or jumping from there up to here. And this is just a small little vantage point that you can use, but it's actually a great one because you can see all the way across the map over there. You can see people over there and a little bit over there. And then you can also get an idea of people moving along the rocks. So this is a nice little spot. And if you want to make yourself a little vulnerable, you can come out here, but you're just going to get shot usually. And then there's a staircase you can use to get up there as well. This is the center of the map. So this is a climbing point you can use. Usually there's an objective in the middle here. You can see people over there, see people over there, see people over there, but you're going to get shot because you're wildly out in the open. Coverage here is very minimal. Sometimes people use this rock to kind of hide and get people coming out there. And then you just kind of peek around to the middle with either kind of just moving down the central spot there or jumping through this car into the back. So pretty straightforward of a level and a bit of a mess to make your way through, in my opinion. Next level. Lowtown is one of the larger maps. It's sort of a 3 main segment setup. You get the central area where everyone kind of fights. You get one spawn and another spawn. And everything is sort of divided by this, I guess you would say, canal that you can swim in, which offers a lot of different places for you to kind of end up going. So this is going to be a little daunting to go over. We're going to start by moving to the left here. There's the back kind of, I guess you would say, dock that you could go into. There's this building right here, which gives you a lot of different shooting angles if you want to sit around. And then many spots on this map are based around being able to jump across the various canal areas. You can actually swim down in there, and that will pop you up into the middle of the map. And as I said, this is going to be a lot of work to kind of dive into and show you effectively. You can run through this door over here to get back into the middle. You can shoot at people that are at the dock from here. And then you can move around here and get into the central point. So this central point is a spot that I see a few people use. There's lots of different corners you can hide in. Mostly allows you to enter the central plaza. And yes, you can jump down the middle and end up in the water area. As I said, the canal connects everything. There's a door that leads to the spawn we came from, and there's the door that leads to the other spawn. We'll have to come back to the central area in a sec though as we continue to move around the map. Then we're back into this area. As you can tell, there's a couple different bridges, some boats that you can use, and then a kind of like middle passageway. Let's keep moving around the outside. So here you can basically climb this crevice in order to get up to the top, or you can come through this door, and here you can get a little spot just basically viewing people from there. And then here we're into the second spawn, the opposing spawn, which offers lots of different areas to use for cover and shooting. And it's quite open, but it does give you a lot of cover to actually move around this area. Then there's the bridge that leads into the middle, and again another boat section for you to go to a little smaller area. And at any time you can jump into the water. This room is largely open, mostly just a spot for people to walk between the areas. And then there is a second level which gives you a vantage point over the bottom portion of the map. There's usually people up there. There'll be people hopping across boats, people running through this little plaza. You can also swim and go under there in order to get to the middle. As I said, there's a lot going on here and many ways to move through this area. So if we come through the bottom, or we move from the spawn, you're able to come here. You can hop across the boats if you'd like to. And there is a zip line that will take you up. We'll show that in a sec. Then you can come here, go straight through the courtyard, or you can go around this way, get a little bit of cover. Both sides kind of offer that. Again, lots of climbing opportunities. There's your zip line that will immediately take you up to the second level really quick. Or again, you can swim right underneath, which is a cool option. This restaurant is lightly used. It's filled with corners, but it's more of a place people seem to use to get from point A to point B. Here you can take the water in order to hop across to get to the spawn. So you can see there's a spawn bridge, or to get into this building, which is very open. People always love to go there, and once again, you can swim underneath if you need to. So moving from the back bridge, here I would recommend kind of hopping up to get the advantage, because this is always an objective. You can see people coming in there, people coming in there, people coming from the water. Or you can stay up here and fight guys that come from that ledge, that spawn, or down through the middle water areas. Lots of options, as I was saying. Then if you go this way, you're back to the spawn, or we can come in here and show off this spot. There's a ladder to get to the second level, a boat area, lots of corners to hide in. This is a great spot to see these different points, but just a different vantage point from that area right there. And we're back to the spawn that we started at. And then we can go across the bridge, and you can see that this is a central entry point just to get to where the middle of the map is. Or you can go up here to the right, and you are able to go down into the water, swim down there to get to a smaller point, or you can climb up and get to the second level. When you're climbing, you're very vulnerable, easy to get shot. This is that vantage point where you can see people from the bridge, that area, or the glass things, or down there. And you can come here, windows, to let you see the plaza, this is the zip line. And here is this area, so you can see people coming from that spot. This is a good spot to kind of sit and shoot people. You get a little bit of cover, but not a whole lot. We're back into the middle. This is the lower area where you can come from basically this side that leads into the spawn. Hop along there. See, this is where the spawn is. Or you can enter this place from all of the different water places from that spawn area, or this one right here in the middle of the plaza. And finally, we have the pizza room, where there's usually pineapple pieces. Yep, they fall down. Hilarious. But yeah, middle, that spot, pretty easy going, and it'll lead you back to the second spawn. So that kind of covers this larger level. A lot of detail and lots of spots to go to. Payback is essentially a map ripped from the campaign safe house. So you've got the interior area with an underground secret spot, an upper area, and then one spawn courtyard and another spawn courtyard. This is a small map, but there are a few different areas to go through. So you can either go through this building in order to reach the side area, or this one right here. Alternatively, you can run straight into the house. You can go to these windows and use these windows as spots to shoot inwards to where the objective in the middle usually is, or to see people on the stairs. Or you can kind of move around the left-hand side here. You can't shoot through this stuff very well, but you might be able to peek a little bit over there, but not really too helpful. This is a good spot to see people coming from the middle or coming down from the stairs. You're actually pretty covered there. Then this is basically a fall to your death thing, but you can also climb into the middle of the house in order to get in and attack people really fast. If we look here, very open space. You can kind of hide behind the couch area. You gotta watch people coming from there. It's very tight. This will take you to the back side of the map. You can come in here. There's a door switch you can use, and you'll just see that this leads you to the back courtyard. It's a nice little tucked away thing, but a quick way to move through the map that actually doesn't seem to get a whole lot of traffic. Moving up here, we go to the second spawn already. It's right down there. And you can come up here, see people in the windows, see people from the side. You're very vulnerable. This will also lead you into the kitchen area, which we'll come back to in a sec. This is the secondary spawn, which has some levels of verticality to it because you get a little bit of a lower area. Although you don't seem to spawn back there, you just seem to spawn right here in the middle where you're vulnerable. You do get a bit of a shed. I don't see that people usually spawn in this area, but you can move all the way around this and actually take advantage of it if you are spawning here. But as I said, very rarely will people actually spawn around there, which is a bit odd. Then you can move around the outside where the little tree line area is, move up here to the little courtyard, or come into the kitchen, which is where we're going. You see, that's where we just were. You can see people spawning usually from here in the kitchen, and we can make our way up here. So the stairs is good, but this is actually like a little bit of a safer way to kind of go because you actually get a bit of cover before moving up here. Choice is up to you. Then you can see here, this is that staircase that leads back to that spot right there. Or you can come up to this spot. I actually quite like this because you get to see people coming from the spawn going that way. You can shoot at them, you got good coverage, or people coming up from that staircase. And you can see down here, That's where that little safety spot is that's hidden, that little area right down below where the stairs are. We'll get back around to that. So then this room here, very, very vulnerable to get to this spot. So when you come to this room, this is a great vantage line of sight. You can see people there. See, that's the room to the secret passage down there. But the danger is climbing up this ladder. You are just constantly, like, just going to get shot by people hiding or sitting in this room. It's very dangerous and hard to kind of get up there. Even if you do, like, a bit of a jump like that to the ladder, you're still very, very vulnerable. And then we could see the continued back passage that way, just like tree line cover, but you go into like an open spot here with a little bit of cover with the hedges. You can see people that way, but people don't usually go that way. And people there and people on like the second level of that barn. And then you can climb up here if you want to get up to this spot a little easier. It's a nice little back spot. But there you can see is the spot to the secret entrance. And that covers this level pretty well, I would say. Definitely a lot of options for you to kind of move around, and a lot of places for you to see where enemies are coming from. This is Protocol, which is another rather large map where there is a lot of verticality and a lot of angles to get shot at. Spawn here, spawn over here, couple major buildings, and then some lower and higher areas to go to. So from here you can go to the right, the middle, or the left. We're going to be going around the outside left here, as you can climb up and you can take in the scenic water, or you can go to the middle. There's the passageway back towards the spawn. You can climb up here, you can climb up there, and this is basically a dead end, but you can sort of pop up here, or you can sort of sit back a little bit and kind of use this as a ledge to shoot people at. It's actually pretty helpful, but other people have a lot of cover too. And then you come right into the middle of the map where there's these big guns, and you can kind of crouch along the outside of these, because typically the objectives are placed around here. So let's head back and get into this major building, which from here you can see where you came from up that way if you want. You can come from directly from the main spawn, or you can go around that extra little side spot. This is a large house. You can enter from that room there, or you can climb to the second level very easily. There's a bunk bed room here, and this is the staircase that will take you to the bottom floor there. Lots of windows that you can use in order to shoot at people on the other side, shoot at people from down there, shoot at people on the lower level of that building, and yet again another window with a slightly different vantage point that you can use. And we're back in the bunks. Here is a descending rappel that will take you all the way down to the bottom floor, but we don't need to go there at the moment because that's a whole little lower area. So if we were to enter from down there where the spawn is, we come here, you can see it's a pretty big open area. There's the descender available again. And then you just pop out into the middle of the map. Alright, let's continue moving along. The outside left. We've got a helicopter helipad. We've got a lower area here, which mirrors the other side there. You can come in the helicopter. I don't see too many people that do, but it's an option. Here you can use a couple different spots to try to get around, but this is mostly for cover from people that way if they're coming down the steps, or you can do so here too, seeing people. You got a sniper or like a assault rifle, something like that for a good distance and scope. You can take people out that are over there. Otherwise, you come back here, bit of a grass area, bit of an entry point. Climbing up, you can see there's this outside area that takes you to the middle, or you can kind of come back here to the spawn section, running up the stairs, or going to the left for the crumbling area over here, and moving along the outside. That is all an option that is present. This area is a little tighter because the focus is to put you in this larger, more open building. There is the entrance to the center of the map. There's a secondary back option. And then we also have like a little bit of a room there that we'll show off in a sec. So we're going to the second level, where you can once again see a very open line of sight to there, to the various windows and the doors, and not really over there, but you could throw grenades from here over to that spot. This is better if you actually want to shoot people that are coming from over there and still see people over there. And finally, this angle, which is very much meant to take people dead on that are coming from this spot here. Then you can use the descender to get back down if you want to go to the bottom area. That is an option that is present. If we come back around, we can see here that there is a staircase that will take you down to the lower part of the map. This is a central zone and sometimes an objective. So you can usually just literally hide here and shoot people coming in, and crouch and then shoot people from either perspective. It's a bit of an awkward spot with lots of hiding areas and different sections you can use in order to attack foes that are coming. If we come around this way, you'll see that this is the descender that we were using earlier. So this is where this one leads, in case you were wondering. See, we all got it wrapped and roped up, eh? Then there's this big, awkward open area. There's to get up to the top there from ascending. And it may seem tempting to use the water, but you can't really. There it is, the ladder to get up to that middle section, or you're kind of stuck walking around up the staircase. This is an area where objectives are. People hide in these corners. People climb up here because it lets them get a bit of a vantage point in the middle, but it's really awkward. If you move around the outside here, you get like a bit of cover, but you're still very vulnerable. And it's just sort of this outer edge you can lightly use to kind of get around. Other than that, it's not super helpful. Let's move back to the side here. So you can use this to get down into this kind of like really awkward little tower area that leads you back there, or this will take you back to the spawn. Lots of weird ways to move around. You can see this sort of side here is another wraparound section, and then finally we'll finish it off by showing off this little square building here that I don't really see get a lot of usage, but if you do want to shoot people that are coming this way to go to that spawn, or that objective spawn, that's good, but this is a good line of sight right here to use. And that covers this map, which is really quite windy and lots of places to get shot from. This is Red Card, which is another excessively large map. You have an outer concourse, you have a central concourse, and then you have an in-field level of like stairs and seats that you can go to. This one is a lot to deal with. So off the bat for this spawn here, you can either go down to the lower concourse, or you can kind of make your way through the lower concourse to the middle area. We're going to step right inside to the middle central spot, which allows you to go up to a second level, stay here, or go through one of the mini doors to reach the middle. We're going to continue along to the left side. This is a bit of a fancy corporate area where we've got multiple doors and places to go through. I like hiding in those corners because you close the door and people can't really see you too much. And lots of hiding spots, tons and tons and tons of vantage points, hiding spots, and areas to go to. This takes you out to the very large field, which is genuinely impressive. Didn't know it looked like this in the 90s. So here you can go into like different spots to see different people coming around. It's really, really quite awkward. Because like you think you can kind of go around, but you're not supposed to. It'll cancel out. Here's the VIP entranceway, like we had mentioned, or you can go this way into like a little hallway that leads you there, or leads you around into this middle kind of spot that just takes you down into the center of the area. You can kind of sit up here and kind of use this as cover for people coming from down there or over there. There might be people that go into this middle box, because this leads you to back into this kind of like little room where they're doing tickets. You can see the middle there where they come up from. That's the spawn where they come from, or that entrance right there. There's also a staircase there that will lead you to a bit of a second level. And as I said, there's a lot going on here. And then this door, it kind of mirrors it on this side, but you get to see that spawn and that escalator where they're coming from. That's the door, that's the area, there's another set of, another ladder, and then more doors that lead you to the middle of the map. Let's head back to the outside. As I said, there's a lot to this. So you can walk down along that way, or here. You can use this to get back into the middle concourse, or you can come up here and get a little bit of a vantage point, but you have no cover at all from those coming that way. They just might not be expecting you because you're coming from a different angle or shooting from a different perspectives. Just like here on that side, you can use this spot, but I don't see many people that do. Then we come down here. This is a very deadly tunnel because you run up and you basically get shot at. And we kind of come to this side's spawn type area, which is a very open concourse spot. And you do get a door here, I guess, so like a little bit of cover if you get trapped back in this spot. From here, you can go out to the outside of the map there. You can go up the escalators, which we kind of showed earlier where this was, or you can use the elevator. Seriously, yeah, you can use the elevator. That will take you outside. That will take you up the stairs. The escalator, just in case you're wondering, takes you into the middle of the concourse where we were doing the ticket booth. And seeing here, which takes you to the middle of the outside. Let's take the ladder and show this off. So here you get a nice big vantage point of the open. There's usually an objective on the stairs or around the outside. This lets you see practically everything, which is great. And that is mirrored on the other side, a little tighter, I think, around there, so you can't actually see each other, but yeah. And then you can come around here. This lets you see right into the middle. You got a sniper, something like that, an assault rifle. Very good draw distance for that. This will take you to the stairs if you want to go down. And then, of course, we have the elevator that you can call up and go up and down. Yeah, it's a lot. There is, yeah, a lot to this. And then we'll just carry the stairs all the way back. You can see this spot here will take you to the concourse in the middle. Or you can keep going down, and you can see here that's kind of where the spawn was. So we're going to come out to the outer concourse of the map, seeing this open area from the spawn here. It just keeps going and going. Out here, you can kind of climb vehicles and maybe snipe off of this. You could see that the glass there, you could shoot people. People can come down from there and shoot you. You could come this way, and then there's really just two levels to this. You're up here shooting down at people that are doing the various little small things there, or people that you need from up there, or maybe they've come from the front door. There's a lot to this. And objectives are usually on the staircases, so you kind of have to awkwardly make your way around. There's also like this lower area that you can kind of sneak along if you don't want to be seen, or you can just run through the middle. This spot lets you see in there, lets you see up there, lets you see up there. As I said, there's lots to it. Then you can move around. This is something that lets you get a little bit of a vantage point again. And then we've got the immersive soccer area. You can shoot people through this thing. They might not notice you, and you go back to the spawn up this way. Or you can kind of sit in the corners because there's usually an objective that like comes around here, and it lets you climb up and escape if you need to. And then you punch through the middle, and this is the middle spot. Sometimes there's an objective here, so you like sit in the corner and hope you don't get seen, or kind of sit in the middle, but you're just like super vulnerable, which is terrible. And finally, we'll just show off this vantage point here for this ladder. And that should cover the gist of this map, which is really, really large. This is Rewind, which is larger than this TAC map really shows. Spawn over here, spawn over there. You can run down this very open lane area, which I wouldn't recommend. You got little freedom chicken over there that a lot of people like to go through. But mainly you're moving through a selection of large buildings. This is where most of the action takes place, which is a Rewind video store. And then there's also the back alley area where a lot of conflict happens. Let's dive in and show off these various spots. Be careful, all these vehicles blow up and they can and will kill you. We can't go in because we're closed. No. So you walk around here, that's an outside area. People will have an objective in this space, in this building. I find that a lot of people like to hide back in this kind of corner, or they like to lie down here and watch people coming that way, or hide in that corner. You're very vulnerable no matter where you go in this building. Then you can see the outside, and you can see that this is kind of a long alley. You can come up in this truck if you need to kind of hide quickly, or you can use the cover on the outside to move around the edges. There is a central little plaza here, so this will take you into this building that connects over there. I see a fair bit of people that actually like hide here and wait for people to come out of the movie store through the glass. And it's very good for popping up over to get to the other side or seeing other people come around that way. Let's quickly take a look at this small little... It's more of just a corridor that you would use to quickly get to this back area and connect to the store, which we just came from. So you won't spend a lot of time here aside from running to that next spot. Obviously, that is the way to enter the movie store. Let's continue around. So here is a core building for objectives, or you can run around the outside. And I have seen, I think some people kind of like, climb up here. It gives you a great vantage point, but pretty vulnerable. We can pop up into this building. This will take you to the back kind of section of the movie store. You can see this is where we came from the glass. Or you can see the lobby right there. And run around back out here. So people hide in various corners, usually like this corner, because it kind of covers you from that door and kind of that door. Not a lot of spots to hide. People like to kind of sit here, or sit around this back door, and people come out that way. Cool, the spots where an objective is too usually. Crouching there's good, crouching around that corner. And this will take you to a quick entry point into the movies, but we're going to keep wrapping around the outside before we show that off properly. There's also this door, which directly takes you into the movie environment, and lets you see the magical elephant. But yeah, you can see the movie store, you can see that back door right there. You can see that there's lots of different cover spots. People hide there, they hide on that side. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. The magic of the 90s, am I right? And that's a good spot right there, too. I quite like that one. Lots of little corner crouching spots. And you can see here, you can come through the giant hole in the wall, or come from this side, where the Freedom Chicken's over there. People don't usually sit around here, but this is actually a really good vantage point for seeing people running in, or just like a good line of sight. And you can see this is like the brief alleyway that leads us back into this end building here where the spawn is. So a couple different ways to enter here. There's also that little spot for hiding. You'd kind of run here from the spawn over that way. And this is another one of those buildings where it's just kind of like a quick, I'm running through here to get to the next place, as opposed to anything meaningful going on. So if you start over here, you can kind of run along that way, or you can move to the chicken, which I don't see too many people do because it's kind of open. Or you run through there to get to that side, or you run down here to get to where the movie spot is. We're going to go through Freedom Chicken. So the spot here lets you see people that are hiding inside if you want to go through the drive-thru. You can also climb up here. You don't get a lot of cover, but I don't know that a lot of people really notice people sitting up here. So with the sniper, you can really pick people off. You can see all the great lines of sight. And it's just kind of a good commanding spot, but you are quite vulnerable. It's a good little sniping nest, though. And then we move through the nostalgia of the restaurant. Lots of little hiding spots, big open windows. Lots of places to get shot from. This area is usually an objective too, so you see people hiding in between like the dumpster spots or on the outside of the dumpster here, so you're protected. That way will lead you back into fast forward or the big hole in the wall like I mentioned. And then we're basically done. I would not recommend trying to jump out here and going around. I've seen a few people try that. Not a great idea. And that is rewind and fast forward. Scud is another very open, large map, but this one doesn't have a whole lot to it. You spawn here, you spawn over here, you've got like a command area here, a trench line, you've got a command area there you can see down from, cover little spots here, a building that a lot of people go to because there's objectives, and then a little side building here. So pretty straightforward. From the spawn, you can run along this corridor right towards the middle of that side, or this is the central middle of the map, or you can jump up on that thing, or go down into the trench. Lots of choices. Entering the destroyed building, you go through the right room, the left. All of this is kind of open, but allowing lots of spots for you to hide in corners. Beware of the explosive barrels. It'll get you killed. You can slide out here, but again, more explosive barrels. Always got to watch that kind of thing. You don't want to get exploded. And this will lead you to kind of an open area where people will be coming from the doors. Or, you know, creeping around here. If this barrel's destroyed, you can kind of use this as a spot to anchor, but yeah, not the best. You can come around that vehicle here. You're kind of at a disadvantage, though, because people will have the high ground up here, so they'll be, like, literally sitting here kind of shooting you as you come in. They got a little bit of cover. See people from the trench or people at the top of that area above the trenches. People go up here to snipe, or they come down here to kind of move through. It's a little down low area. Let's enter the building. I also notice people like to go in this spot because it gives a little bit of cover. Not a great shooting spot, but it does provide some spots for people to sit around. This is an objective usually. People hide in like this corner, or they honestly like lie down here, or they like sit in this corner. You can see people coming through that door. Lots of options. Then here, where we have kind of a little spot here. You can kind of sit and catch people coming in, or peek in and actually see people in this area. It's very, very helpful. So that's how you get below the radar dish. That's the lower area below the building of the radar dish. And then you can climb up the sides there at any point. This is another just kind of leading to the spawn. This building's just a little tiny side building. Some little spots of cover throughout. Spots you can climb up if you want to snipe with a line of sight. But most people will come here. So there's a lot of holes people drop down from. There is a ladder here. There is a lower area that you can go to, which we'll show in a sec. And then this leads you to the trenches over there. Let's climb up the ladder. And again, you can just climb up the side anywhere around. This is a very open space, and it doesn't provide a whole lot of cover, but it does let you see people over there, people coming from there, or literally anyone else coming from other parts of the map, whether they're in that little spot in the courtyard or coming and sitting up there shooting. It's a good vantage point. You can climb up and kind of move around this side thing. This lets you see into the map, but you're very vulnerable and likely going to get shot, but you can see how it gives you a full vantage of the map from a little bit of a covered space. You can go down there to get to the little area, or you can go down here. You can see that spot right there. You could come down from that, and then it just kind of moves you back into the open. People usually come through this because it thinks that gives them good cover. It doesn't really. There's the middle trench, and at any point you can kind of climb up and get to any of the other areas. We've got like a little tiny bunker spot, a ladder that'll take you up to a commanding area, which again is the vantage point that some people use to shoot from, because you can kind of see people there, see people there, see people there, but I do think you're at a disadvantage if you try to use this position. You could maybe come over here and kind of crouch and then anchor and get people coming this way, but yeah, it's sort of an awkward spot where the other side has the full advantage. At least I think so. And then a couple trucks to move through, and we'll kind of finish this off by showing the trench going out into the middle, and going here where there's objectives. People crouch here where that barrel's gone, and over here too, in order to capture this objective. But as I said, very open map, not a whole lot to it, really, if you think about it. Oh, and this is kind of a good little spot to get some cover from, you know, little big hole crater. It helps out a little bit. Skyline, which seems to be a map favorite or heavy in rotation. You spawn over here, or you spawn over here. You move up to the second level to shoot down at people, or you move through the buildings on either side, and then this is a straightaway on the left. Cool. As I was saying, you can move around the right there, climb up there to get to the roof. You can cut through the middle. There's also a little door right there you can use, or you can climb up these stairs. Kind of awkward, people shoot down at you. Or there's always an objective for domination here, so you get people that are kind of anchoring this way, or you get people that anchor this way, and then people jump down and shoot at you. Very open, be careful. This spot is open, fairly open, but there are lots of spots you can kind of hide from and hide behind in order to see people coming. Or you can cut right to the middle, and yes, you can swim in the pool if you want, but you're going to get shot. Let's keep moving around the outside. So this spot here too, I've noticed some people will like kind of try to anchor around and shoot that way because folks will come here. Very, very open spaces. This is also an objective usually, just kind of a little spot people will hide around the corners. Makes sense. You cut through the middle. There's also these little elevator sections, which we'll show off in a little bit. And this is the open spawn. So the open spawn on the other side, you can go up the staircase to get to the second level, cut through the middle to get to that side, or come up the steps. And this is a good area if you want to catch people running down, because you can just kind of get the jump on them. And this is a door that actually closes. So this map is unique in that it has a control system that will shutter this area. So you can kind of jump down here and shoot at people or catch people coming that way. But if the command thing is closed, you can see how this basically blinds a little bit of the room. This will take you down to the lower little elevator area. Or you can come out here and be to the middle. This is a line of sight where people usually meet right at the beginning, so you might want to hurl some grenades across there or be prepared to shoot people. Here, you shoot across from people that come up to the second level and kind of anchor along there, or come from there, or come from that lower area. And this will take you back down below. And you go down here, and it's a hidden little area. So it's a kind of a little spot that's cozy. Not a lot of people use this, but some do. Here you can deactivate the security from, or you can move around. If you're playing something like VIP, people like to hide in this room. It is a safety space, and as I said, it's not something that's used too often. It is an area where you can open a secret passage, which is kind of neat if you want to get in there. And you'll see we're back at the original spawn. Wow. People hide around behind the bathroom. There's an objective in here, usually around the toilet area. And this spot, don't see too many people hide in here. It's just kind of like a quick cutaway. Or you come back and this leads you to the middle area once again. So you can hide down here if you're getting shot at trying to capture the objective, which is in the hot tub. Or you can hide in the hot tub, but very few people actually get into the hot tub because you usually get blasted. Which makes quite a lot of sense considering the layout of this one. Yeah. Then we run along here, and this will just showcase where you come up from the staircase over there. Shoot down in the Skyline if you want to hop down there, or see people across over in that spot, or over there. And then finally, you can climb up this back area to the spawn, which is kind of something I showed earlier. And for a little bonus, you can jump across. I've seen a lot of people jump and shoot me and like die, but you know, you do you, right? Subsonic is tiny and chaotic, and you spawn here or here. You spawn to the doors in the middle closing. You can either run along the outside or you run through the middle. That's basically it. So this map will be very quick to showcase. So either you open the doors, run around here to get in this way to the middle spot, or you run along the outside. You can climb on all the vehicles. You can see here, we can open up the doors to see the central hangar. Pretty straightforward. Or you run through this section, and this will take you to the middle little spot. Nothing too fancy. As I said, tiny map. You will spawn on each other constantly. And there's not really a lot of cover to be had. The terrain is cut out so you can move around creatively, but yeah, you're just going to get shot from literally everywhere. Literally everywhere. I'd give you strategies on this one, but it's pretty chaotic and you're just kind of hoping that you have like a little bit of cover in some spaces to kind of shoot people, not get shot, but yeah, not really. And then this is the second spawn already, where again you can go through that door that way, open the big door here, or cut through the middle kind of section. I guess at least on this side you get like a glass door to, like window to see through, so that's something. And then you cut to the middle, left or right, and you're in the hangar. You can climb on the stealth bomber, go through that way to get to that spawn, or this way to get to this spawn. But that is the entire map. It's very tight, chaotic, and deadly, so good luck on this one. Vault is an interesting level because it's not one that comes up a whole lot. So got a spawn over here, a spawn over here, and a lot of the map is kind of cutting either through the middle or going around either outside area. So we can go through that door, we can walk around the outside, we can go right into the middle courtyard. Of course, you can climb up on these sections and kind of camp a little bit if you'd like to. Here, you're able to use that to get to the middle courtyard, or that to go around more the outside. Or you can go to the second level and get a little bit of a vantage point over the courtyard, seeing people come that way, seeing people cut through the middle, or seeing people go around there. And of course, this is just for seeing this long lane and line of sight, or over that way. Hopping down, very open, little spots along the side for cover, and then lots of entry points using that one there, or coming up to that sort of section. Here is the direct middle of the map. Got a little bit of an entryway, so you might have... Well, not really, nope. Kind of hiding spots, but no, they don't really allow you on that one. And then here you can climb up there, or you can come around and you're basically back into the spawn area. And this acts as a counter room to the room on the other side. So this is the other spawn. Coming up here, going to the second level, and it's a very open area. You just can't really see the opposing side, but you can see people coming along and shoot at them. You can also see this area. So kind of just like a tighter space to counteract the other side. Just like where we had last time, you can go that way to get into the building, that way to get into the building. Or we have this side building this way that you can use. Not as many entryways to get into it, as it is a little bit of a tighter sort of little spot with like a jacuzzi type thing you can kind of sit in, but you're very vulnerable and very open for being shot from this spot. So, yeah, and then you can climb up here, but you're really, really open. And then there's a pool for some reason. Well, I guess the pool allows you to cut into the middle, but yeah, you're kind of at a bit of a disadvantage. If you use the pool, you can climb up in different spots. You can go around the outside. Again, lots of little climbing areas. And another little entrance spot on this side. So this is the spawn where we started right here. And we're just going to be showing this building, which is kind of a mirror of the other buildings. Just gives you more options in order to have another vantage. Coming from there, or seeing people slink down the middle. And then, yeah, this spot lets you get a little bit of command of the area, if you so choose. And then finally, we enter the main building where all the action happens. So you go that way, or you can run around here. Again, many spots for you to kind of climb and take advantage of in order to get to different areas. It's quite winding. Lots of paths for entry. Really, however you want to tackle it, you can. This lets you see everything in the middle. And you can run around here, and this will take you to the open of this spawn, which, as I said, just kind of directly throws you into the middle of the map. It's strangely, like, tiny, but, yeah. Real shame you can't climb up, really. Right? And this is the side, so just directly right into the action. And we finish this map by going down into the vault where all the gold is. So you can leave the vault kind of going around this way, which takes you to the little side spot. Or you can go through the pool, which is what we kind of highlighted a little bit ago, and that is the vault. Vorkuta, which is probably the single most lopsided map in the history of Call of Duty if you spawn on this side. So you can spawn here or spawn here. This side has all the advantages. You can get here, which is elevated, shoot people that way, or see people coming down the pipe. You can sit here and see people coming down this way. You can go along the outside and people will awkwardly be trying to get through here to get around, but they can't. So basically you control a flag spawn here, especially if you're playing domination, you'll just keep spawning right beside this flag, and the center one because you have the high ground. It's incredibly lopsided. Seriously, it's insane. So at the start, you can move through the left or you can move through the right into this building. This map has a lot of like verticality points, so different layers that people can come from. There's a ladder up there, you can kind of sneak around the side. Here you can climb out and kind of go towards the middle, or you can go a little bit higher. And if you're up here, you can actually shoot people very easily that are around in these spots. It's also a great spot that just leads you into basically nowhere. There's no advantage through this building, it's just a way to get shot in. Over around here, you can use the ladder to get up like I showed, or you can use this sort of area that doesn't let you see anything. This is that passageway I was talking about that you can snake around, good for cover. You can come into the middle here, and you can use this to drop down to the lower area, or you can walk out into the middle. And it's just all very, very awkward. Very, very awkward indeed. Or, alternatively from spawn, like I had mentioned, this is the other path. You just come along here, and you get shot at people that are up there. And if you try to come this way to sneak through the pipe, you get shot at people that are watching that vantage point. Or you get shot at people that are up here, or people that are right here shooting at you coming in. You don't stand a chance. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Climb up in here, and this gives you advantage of that area. And you can see the pipe right there. You can also come around to this area, and you'll end up in the other team spawn. And you will just, like, literally just keep spawning here. If you start here and have a flag, like, literally the flag will be right here. And you just keep spawning on top of it, and the spawns never flip. It's wild. Very, very poorly thought out. And you can come up to the second level if you need to see people coming around, but very open. Yeah, this map's really, really weird. Very, very weird. Okay, so you can come down here if you have the spawn spot, so you can come down that way, or you can come out this way, and you can climb up on the gear. You can go underneath the gear either way, lots of different gear entry points. But yeah, essentially you could just sit up in the gear and see all these people coming in and they can barely see you. You can see people coming through the pipe and they can't really do anything about it. And you can see people coming from there. You can also see people coming from there. So yeah, basically if you hold the gear and there's a spawn, like, you know, the flag spawns right there, flag spawns right there, the other team can't do anything about it. And you just kind of automatically win almost every time. It's crazy. But yeah, there's the lower area of the pipe where the giant like gear, and this is just sort of an open spot. You can sit back here and snipe people that are spawning, or kind of like come up in here and you can get this as an anchoring point too and see people from there or there. Pretty straightforward level, Vorkuta. Not a lot of fun to play. Warhead, which is a bit of a bonus. It's essentially a sunken Nuketown map. It's tiny, you don't really see it come up in rotation, but I thought I would give you a little bit of a bonus tease of this one, just because it is an option that is present. So you can basically just kind of walk around the map. It's very open. There's not really any cover anywhere at all. Little spots, little vantage areas, but not really much areas to hide in. You can get up on the roof here, see people come around there, but tight, quick, extreme combat, not a whole lot of safety for you to use, aside from little bouts of cover, but people will be moving and spawning around you so much in so many different ways that you're not really going to have a lot of opportunities to actually, like, hide or use cover to your advantage because, you know, you're going to be moving around and shooting pretty quick. It is a high-octane, fast-moving level. Anyways, I hope this was a helpful look at the maps from Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Obviously, DLC levels will be coming. Obviously, Nuketown will return. And hopefully this helped you at least get an idea of the maps. And I do this every year, so yeah, hopefully you found this helpful. If you do, let me know, as it is something that I try to do with every Call of Duty game to familiarize yourself with the maps that are present.